nobody should be surprised by the news that's revolving around Steam lately. Nobody is less surprised than me because, well, as per usual, I called it. I said that if hate speech kept getting uploaded to Steam, eventually Valve would be on the hook for it. Because despite people yelling free speech, which they weren't yelling when it was just shit games, it was only when the game started getting homophobic and misogynistic and all that stuff. But for all the yells of that, and people saying, you know, Valve's not responsible for what it sells on its store, eventually, when something troublesome enough happens on Valve's store, they will be on the hook for it, and they will get in trouble. Or at the very least, they'll get some side eyes, and they'll be implicated because they're selling the fucking thing. And here we are with this game, Bolsomito 2K18, which is, it's come out in front of the Brazilian elections. Sorry, I'm actually talking and playing it at the same time, because you can still get it, even though Valve's being investigated for it, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, this is for a guy, I've got it written down here, Jair Bolsonaro is a political candidate out in Brazil who is a little racist, homophobic bastard, and has been described as Trump on steroids, which, I'm just imagining Trump getting some steroids from his mate Vince McMahon, and Vince is shoving the injections up his arse, and anyway, this game has come out from the appropriately named BS Studios, ahead of that election, and it's about killing minorities. You are running around punching them to death until they shit. And Brazilian authorities are now investigating BS Studios, this game of course, and Valve, for any part they may be playing in the incitement of hatred and stuff coming out to sort of fuck around with the election that's going on. The, where are we? Brazilian's Public Ministry of the Federal District and Territories, they've opened an investigation into the developer and Steam and Valve. The investigation, I got this bit off Eurogamer, the investigation is there to investigate the availability of the game Bolsomito 2K18. I'm not even having to look at the screen, I'm just hammering the kick button. Investigate the availability of the game Bolsomito 2K18, created by BS Studios and distributed by Valve Corporation, Steam in the brackets. So yeah, not a good look. And that's something I tried to argue fucking ages ago. It's not a good look for Steam to sell hate speech. This isn't the first bit of hate speech that's come up. Once Valve opened its doors to everything and said, oh, well, as long as it's not trolling, we'll throw it up. And when people worked out that even if they do take it down, it won't be until sometime after the game's come out, they could upload whatever nasty little shit they wanted. And here we are. There were plenty of pro-Trump games. There's all sorts of Trump games on Steam, but not any of them have been quite this open and barefaced about the more vile opinions that come from these sorts of politically themed games about killing minorities, which isn't good. I mean, some people seem to need that spelled out for them. That's not good. And you can yell free speech all you want, but hate speech isn't actually sort of under the purview of free speech. Things designed to incite and things designed to promote violence, which this game undoubtedly does. I mean, this is just the first level. Things get worse and worse. I might not play that far, but you look at the Steam reviews, and certainly from the things people have told me, because of course plenty of people told me this game was out there, it's bad shit. It's, you know, this goes beyond offensive. This is violent. Not in terms of, you know, not a violent game content. It's violence. Because when you promote that sort of thing, when you promote violence against minorities and people who can't fight back necessarily, you're part of the violence. Sorry, I was quite stuttery because I've got to punch and kick. It's a shit game. I mean, let's get that bit out of the way now. This is as brainless as it gets, which, you know, shouldn't surprise anyone. Working brains and this level of hate is, well, they don't go hand in hand strictly, do they? Fucking hell. I'll have a little bit of my coffee as well, because I just got up and saw all the buzz about this and was like, well, that's what we're doing with our time this morning. So yeah, despite the controversy the quite widespread by now controversy by the time I got round to it. And despite an investigation, I was able to get this game no bother. Bloody hell. There was some story dialogue as well before this bit of gameplay. I didn't really read through most of it. It just looked like the manifesto of John Doe from Seven, just rambling on about the evils of communism, which is part of what this game's whole thing is about, the agenda of the game. Deal with the evils of communism as well as all those horrible minorities that they feel are ruining Brazilian society. So yeah. As with quite a few clear my throat as well. As with quite a few of the elections around the world that we've seen in the past few years, things have gotten really quite vicious and nasty and spiteful and hateful. Let's keep using that word. That word is more appropriate than ever for a video like this. We got hit by someone. Fucking hell, it never ends. I'm sure some people will want to buy this. Especially when they see certain people they don't like complaining about it. They'll want to buy it just to stick it to the left, which is a thing that some people like to do. They'll buy things or they'll burn their own possessions just to stick it to people. If you do that with this, I mean, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, you're already a fucking idiot just to spite buy things. I've never gotten that. Political or not, like if I review something negatively, there are people who go, oh, thanks, I'm going to buy this. What do you think about that? Well, I think you're a fucking moron. You've bought shit with your money. Okay. So yeah, people will spite buy this. I'm sure people already have. And more than ever, they are fucking idiots. Because this is the worst. I mean, I've played glitchier games. I've played quote-unquote worse games on a technical level. But this is... I'm just hammering a key. I'm hammering a key. I don't... Like, moving forward isn't even a viable tactic because you just open yourself to getting hit. So you just walk forward a few inches here and there when you've gotten a clearing, and then more people just wander towards you while you just smash the key. So yeah, if you want to spite buy it, be my guest, you fucking twit. Even if they weren't littering it with hate speech, the quote-unquote developers of this masterpiece of crap should be ashamed. The fact that it's about killing people who are different from you because of that, that only makes it all the worse, significantly worse. But when you start from should be ashamed of yourself and only go way, way down from there, I'm the kind of person I wouldn't want to look after children or animals or have any form of responsibility whatsoever for anything, except for their own bullshit, of which there's a lot. My God. To get further and see how worse this is, I would require way more patience than I have. This isn't even the first time Valve's been implicated in things because of games like this. I think it was the BBC ran an article the last time they did, they did that one on the school shooting, where you could take part in a school shooting, and the BBC picked that one up. And Valve's name came up in association with it, because again, even though you can say, well, it's not our responsibility and we'll take the games down eventually if they are considered bad, basically if they get enough negative attention, your name as the seller, as the distributor, will come up, as it's come up in the past, as it's come up with this game in Brazil, and as I'm sure it'll come up again. And Valve's whole, well, so long as it's not illegal and so long as it's not trolling rule, the only rule when it comes to what games can go up on Steam, that isn't even enforced until after the game's up, in most cases. That's not enough to wash their hands of the situation. They can't Pontius Pilate their way out of this one. There is responsibility, there is culpability there, because it is your store. I've made this example before, I'll make this example again. If Toys R Us started selling teddy bears full of cum, they would be responsible for the cum-covered shelf which people could buy the teddy bears from and take it home and squeeze it, and then cum all oozes out of it and cum dribbles from its mouth. and it cries tears of cum. And people would say, hey, Toys R Us, why are you selling teddy bears full of cum? And they would say, well, so long as the toys are not illegal, and so long as the toys are not trolling, we let people wander in and put things on the shelf. Oh yeah, you don't want to get hit by cars, that is a one-hit kill, and you have to start from the beginning. And I will never start this game again. Oh, okay. We've got a fashion shop in the background. More effort's gone into the background than this punchy, kicky shite. Anyway, that's about all I need to talk about this. You know, it's a hateful game. The premise of it is spiteful. If you were to just look at it, like, out of context like this, you might just think it's about punching people. But once you know the context and what it's talking about and the evils of the minorities that it wants to take down, and the fact that, of course, it's being fucking investigated for these things, alongside Valve, which again, I called. I said it would happen. I said they'd be on the hook for this stuff. No one listens to me. No one ever listens to me. The Cassandra of video game strikes again. And that is all there is to be said about that. Fuck this. Fuck this utter shite.